Live. Cullahcast, live from quarantine. Can everybody see and hear? If not, we're screwed. We're screwed. We're screwed either way, Pat.
Yep.
So everybody, this is Patrick Mullen. If you don't know who he is, you might have seen him in the Comrades or in the Copperheads. For people who know me, you might have heard him on Blazing Day track, Heaven's Garden on the drums. Also, Love You Gotta Be on the bass.
Last year.
All that jazz. And he's my roommate. So we're quarantined. 6 feet.
Yeah.
No, we're not. We've been closer than 6 feet.
Well, man.
In this, we share space. You know, we didn't choose to be in this predicament.
You know, it's funny. We literally haven't talked much in the last, day, 2 days, even though we live, across the hallway. You know, so it's kind of interesting how we've been in this apartment building, but without, really too much interaction, which...
Yeah, it's like, well...
happens.
If we go to the bathroom at the same time, or if we cook a meal at the same time.
We only have one bathroom here, so.
Yeah, during the day. I mean, now you know how my life is here, day to day, just in one room, really most of the time. I mean, but now we can't go anywhere, right? Lockdown since last Monday. Well, officially Tuesday.
This is my third week.
Yeah, but
you've
been pretty full. Was it fully quarantined pretty much? Other you're just the same people, right?
Yeah, I mean that's just kind of been what it is. But I got to be honest, I love working from home. It's like a nice. I think what I found out is that the thing I enjoy the most about working from home is just the random shower that you get to take during the day. Just because I don't know. 15 minutes in the shower, it's nice. But, yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that our previous
your
roommate...
Dad just texted me.
Hey, Dad. Yeah, it's... I'm glad that our previous roommate, Evan, moved out so that I could take his...
No, he bought a house.
Yeah, but now I get his old room, and it's so much bigger than my other room, and... Oh, man. Just a lot more comfortable to be in and to have space to just kind of get up and move around every once in a while.
Yeah, dude.
So, but I used to have the whole, lower floor.
That's true.
Right next to the bathroom. But, it's been all right working from home.
Yeah, I read something that maybe it was an Onion article or something. I forget what it was, but it was... Now everyone's going to realize that we could have been working from home this whole time. It's what? I could have been doing this stuff from home this whole time. Maybe not maybe some jobs more than others, but that's an interesting point. I feel like everyone, I don't know. There's a lot of lessons that we're learning in this strange social distancing
Absolutely.
time.
I mean, it's still an adjustment. You can't always talk to the same people as easily, right?
Right.
But it's obviously something that I'm fortunate enough to have the ability to do, because I know a lot of people, still have to go into work and stuff, and still trying to find ways to support community. I've already gotten some food around from Company Brewing. They're doing a great job, and Izzy Hops, shout out to Izzy Hops.
Shout out to Izzy Hops. If you're in Milwaukee, you want to get some beers or some foods, Izzy Hops and Company Brewing are good spots.
Right, but still plenty of people that, you see that still have to work. And so, like I said, I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home, so.
Yeah, a lot of people, they're fucked. It's true, man. There's 30% unemployment rate. 3 million people applied for unemployment benefits last week. 3 million.
Yeah, that was within a few weeks. But that's just how this.
Within a week, dude. Within days. It was the. I mean, they announced. I think Trump announced some of that stuff, and then Congress passed that shit in But I saw the graph of like what the unemployment benefits look like after the '08 and after '01, the two crashes after 9/11 and that '08 crash. They had to change the scale completely because this thing is 3 million. Like there was these little upticks, but this is just like boom.
Well, it's a different cause entirely. And I think we're still trying
crazy,
to,
man.
yeah, still trying to figure it out. But I feel
30%
like
of people. That's a third of people, and then no one has any income, and so then how are you gonna buy anything? And like I feel like the first paycheck's the first $1,200 is gonna come in 2 weeks. It's gonna be like another month until everything goes. It's like shit, man. Hopefully everything gets. Hopefully everyone can get their stuff. And I know that evictions are most states have suspended, or they have moratoriums on some things, and they've suspended evictions, and they've.
yeah, I mean, there's always, I mean, because you're kind of in that group. I mean, I'm fortunate enough to still like work a normal schedule, whereas like we had these trips to go out to California, like do some gigging and stuff, but I know that that's like something that is a
there's no gigs.
big
gigs are
source
a huge
of income for
gigs
you.
are a huge chunk of income. At least they have been. For most musicians, they are. I'd say for the majority of musicians get their money from touring and income. That's why I was excited to get it off the ground, But it's I did a little tour, but these were going to be like boom boom East Coast West Coast like, but it seems like now I'm just going to wait a little bit longer, like another month, and see how everything settles. But then book for August, September is really what I'm looking at right now. I'm seeing a bunch of people that are already booking, they've already rebooked their tours.
So what are we gonna do? I guess we gotta. You haven't heard about some of those other places yet?
People are just it's all canceled, dude. It's in the middle of April. Most states aren't gonna like peak until like May.
You don't have a chance.
So that's why June's even fucked too for sure. Like it already should have been booked by now, and especially with this shit. Like I was like halfway through booking it, and then I just stopped.
Yeah.
Because there was no point in continuing further with it because there's so much unknown, and I don't want to waste more time. So it's like, well, all right, well I'm gonna just live on the internet like I did when I was a kid before I started booking things, and build.
Just getting the chat up.
Okay, good. Yeah, is it still? It looks like some Facebookers out there. Oh, hey. Oh, what's up, Shane? What's going on, dude? My cousin Shane's on the Twitch chat.
Shane.
Yeah, he's saying based off the 2018 taxes. So if you did your taxes, which I did in 2018, and it showed a pretty bleak situation. This last year was better. And I was hoping this next year, it's still on track for some good things. But I am in that boat, but not really, because most of my income
stuff.
comes from royalties from streaming, and from like other.
And you got to think that streaming's kind of going up right now. I don't know.
Well, it's been. I mean, I got on an algorithmic playlist the first big algorithmic playlist that I got on, just to Discover Weekly, and my numbers, it's just one song, Raining Fire, and it just skyrocketed. So like this month's going to be the best month on Spotify that I've ever had. So I mean that happened before the shit was really hitting the fan.
You were saying you got some people on YouTube using like a lot of YouTube videos posted just in the last few days, right?
Yeah, today there's 7 today. So everyone it was 6 earlier, I thought, and then I looked again, it was 7. So everyone's doing this. Everyone's going online, man. There's just going to be a huge. I mean, that's what it already is. I saw Cloudflare said there's like 20% already overall increased traffic, But now things are really locking down. That was like weeks. That was a couple weeks ago. So, we got to hope our infrastructure holds that. Like with these crazy periods of crisis, and like it seems like everything's fine. It seems like we have the measures in place, and this isn't something. Like it could have been way worse, something way worse. And like I think everyone's social distancing for the most part that I know, like, and quarantining essentially, and that's what you got to do, I guess, and just do it for a few weeks and just like see how it goes, and then just make sure that the numbers are all right. Because, dude, I just heard that in New York City, the morgues are they're full, so they have like big refrigerated trucks that they're storing bodies in right now. Because
that's unfortunate.
I mean, that's what I heard.
So,
But if there's any New Yorkers out there, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think that, hopefully people are starting to pay attention now, and because like,
Yeah, I don't know.
for me, it's, I'm a big sports fan, and not having sports to watch for the past couple weeks, obviously not the most important thing. I get it, but
it's a big lifestyle change,
and it's kind of its own, and that kind of ties in with music too. It's like, where do people go when I find myself in times, like music is one of those things, sports is one of those things, and like,
yes,
and it's such an all-consuming thing
there's
because
so
of like
much you can do online, man. The like going to a concert, playing with people, like being in that space.
we're social, social creatures, like by nature, and
Now we're taking a little.
now we are doing a podcast because we just can't.
Yeah.
Can't not talk to,
No, you
to
have
somebody.
to. You got to. That's like I've been. It's been in a way. It's nice, because like, trying to look on the bright side of things, because it's really putting things in perspective about what's important in society and like what's important to us in general, like as people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh shit. It's like maybe grocery store workers have a little more value than, than people maybe give them credit, or like. And the fact, it's like the 9/11 first responders, but for months, every day, like people are exposing themselves to risk, and healthcare workers, like, now Smoky Water Studios is in the house on YouTube.
Sorry, can't make it out this year.
Yeah, everything's canceled. Well, hopefully Earl will reschedule for.
It'll happen again.
Yeah.
I'm sure. But that's what I've been wondering about.
August,
so
September.
all these concerts that were scheduled for this month, last month, whatever, next 2 months even, like they're moving back Summerfest. What happens when, like, now people start to schedule again, and all these venues are going to be like competing for, like, artists? It's going to be kind of a weird open market type of. That's kind of.
Yeah, how many?
I know artists don't book themselves, right? But like, you have all these venues that don't have like shows booked necessarily, and
I bet a lot of the big contract stuff they have clauses already in their contracts for shit like this. I bet you, like, natural disaster clause.
Yeah, I've been hearing the word force majeure a lot.
Force majeure.
Yeah, it's like a legal speak for like act of God type stuff. Where
a major force,
and,
is that in French or something?
Mm-hmm.
Or Latin?
I think it's Latin.
Yeah.
We have the technology.
Yeah, look it up. Google.
But,
hey Google. Maybe you don't understand. Hey Google, what's force majeure?
Here's the definition of force majeure: unforeseeable circumstances that prevent someone from fulfilling a contract.
Majeure. That seems like that looks French.
Yeah.
Right? Jour? I don't know.
Jour?
Etymology. Force. Majeure. Wow, force majeure. French. For superior strength. Yeah.
Now you know.
That's a good word, man. That's a good word. It's a majeure word.
But, like I said, it's...
Smoky Water said, yeah, we're literally going nowhere. Yep, they took that. They took that whole turn of phrase and really turned it again. Yeah, it's a weird time. Like, I was talking to Shane earlier today, and he was saying about how, because he's a clinical lab scientist at a VA.
Shane.
Yeah, so he's on the front lines, but in the behind the scenes on the front lines, which I would imagine, like, considering, like, as opposed to a doctor or a nurse, like, he's probably in a pretty sanitary environment, probably has pretty low risk of
As low as it can get, I guess.
I mean, yeah, but then compared to like a doctor or a nurse, but I mean, I guess maybe not, because what if one of your coworkers has it? What if someone gets it? And that's the thing about this virus, is that it's like 3 times as resilient, 3 times as contagious as flu, and like, it's a respiratory thing. Like, you go back and you see like people talking about, well, what would the worst contagion be that we could think of right now? It's like, would it be like SARS? Which technically it is, right? COVID-19 is SARS.
It's a coronavirus. Like, that's the family it falls under, right?
That's what I've heard. I heard that SARS was a coronavirus, and some other one that I heard like, there's a few.
MERS.
MERS? Is it MERS?
I've heard that one.
Yeah, I've heard that one too. MERS. We'll go with yeah.
Here we are.
That's coronavirus too. Influenza?
Not a
Coronavirus. Pneumonia? Coronavirus.
No, it's
Scabies? Coronavirus. Maybes. Maybes. The MERS. Go pack and fuck the MERS. Although there's no... I mean, the NFL's probably fine, right? Well...
So they said the NFL's still scheduled to start this season.
When do they start?
They don't start till September.
Okay,
Start of
they
September.
should be all right. But all their preseason's probably fucked.
Well, yeah, I mean, baseball is not going to happen.
That's totally wrong. Shane says, I supervise outpatient lab for specimen collection. I'm seeing patients face-to-face every day. Damn.
Keep fighting the good fight.
He says it won't be safe to have large groups of people meeting up for some time yet. We basically need to have 0 cases for an extended period of time before it's actually safe. Second wave infections are real and a present danger. Are a real and present danger. Well,
Shane, are we sitting too close right now?
yeah.
Or should we not even be in the same room?
Should I move? I feel like we have no choice. That's why this podcast was perfect. I was like, bring Cullah back.
Well,
Cullahcast back. Well, who's the only person that I can see?
Literally the only person you can. All these TikToks and stuff that you're seeing are like families together, and they're.
Yeah, people are forced to, and that's the thing is, maybe I've seen, there's lots of different ways of people describing it. There's like, there's the doomsday preppers, and then there's the politicians, and then there's the scientists, and then there's the pseudoscientists, and then there's the gurus, and then there's the, then there's just your grandma, like there's a million ways of perspective to look into this type of pandemic. And one of the interesting, more spiritual, philosophical aspects, or like of a long-term sociological like aspect, is that, yeah, like someone was saying this, maybe people needed this, like maybe it's the earth being like, pump the brakes, like here's a little, like, boom, forces everyone inside, everyone to like look within themselves, like be close to their.
I think the brakes are failing. That's what I think it really is.
Yeah, or like I think we're becoming, like, we're the casualty of our own comfort. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, when comfort goes away, like I was thinking, like I just ordered a bunch of fucking food, and it's because I saw that there was some. So, I mean, I also needed some to like stock up on some things too, but it seems like now
you're justifying it.
Yeah, I mean, because it's at this rate, like Shane's saying, like if we're gonna have to wait till 0, that's gonna be 6 months.
Still on the way up.
Yeah, like that's gonna be 6 months. So like I feel like soon enough, hopefully, and that's what I was asking Shane about, is the testing, and he says the testing is still like it is not. They have things that are being in the works, but nothing is like, here's, just go on Amazon and order a test, or every citizen gets a test, like boom, or go to Walgreens, or like go. Oh, I saw there was some drive-through testing that I saw, but I think of course the healthcare people need to be tested before all of us, and as soon as they have testing, maybe we can have like more controlled, like, start gathering in groups of like people that have to show their HIV card. I mean their coronavirus card, and be like, okay, we can meet. We both have corona.
You got the dark mark. Yeah, that's.
They're all screened with a questionnaire before allowed to enter into the hospital. He says we're fine.
Good to know.
He says don't listen to pseudoscience. It's a good advice.
You want to just call him?
Yeah. See, this is where I want the technology, and this is what I'm thinking about. Like, if the tours are going to be delayed, and like a lot of that money was put aside for a van and stuff, and that's why I wonder. It's like now that everything's different and it changed, but it's like, but with the stimulus check, quote unquote stimulus check that everyone's getting, might be able to get another like a separate streaming computer, because my laptop can only handle so much. Like it can really only do this much, like a couple mics and stuff and streaming.
Mm-hmm.
But like I've tried streaming watching a video while doing this on my computer, and it fucks up.
That's what I was talking about.
But if I have another computer that's running the video and then doing an HDMI out, like it's less work on the CPU. So I was thinking, well, maybe I'll do that and then call some motherfuckers in and have. I mean, that's the plan, is to have teleconferencing. Like, that's what I wanted, but you need another person to be running the computer and stuff. And I guess I could do it, but I don't know. Shane says we're not even close to being able to test even 10% of the population. So, yeah. So basically, we're in it for the long haul, guys. Like someone said at the beginning of this, people are expecting a blizzard. Is it you that told me that? Or no, I don't know.
A blizzard.
People are expecting a blizzard.
I love a blizzard right now.
People are expecting a blizzard, but they should be preparing for a winter. Like, and we know what winter is like.
No, I would never make a Game of Thrones reference.
This is the perfect time to bring it back. Game of Coronas.
Man, yeah, it's just, I agree. But like, hopefully, there's some good things that can come out of it. I feel like people are discovering this type of medium a lot more now, like, and how to maybe use it better. I'm hearing a lot more from like artists that would never use social media before, or like older artists that are trying to, So I
like what?
Man, Jack Johnson taught me how to play guitar, right? Like growing up listening to him and his music, and not a social media guy. I watched his live stream the other day playing a bunch of like my favorite Jack Johnson songs, like, and
it's just on his phone or something.
Yeah, and he's like asking his wife to help him fix this. He's like, why can't I see the comments? Where it was just
everyone's got to learn, and they got to learn.
But I think I do think that people have more time to be introspective, but that time's obviously gonna pass as you keep going down the road, and we'll see if we're still podcasting 3-4 weeks from now. Just because there's nothing else to do.
Yeah, right. Just do this every week. Like, I don't know. That's what I wonder about, like, the importance of all that stuff too. It's like people still have a role. Musicians still have to have a role. Like, they still have to exist. But how can you communicate effectively? Like, I saw Armchair Boogie do a good live stream the other day, and like saw on their Instagram story a bunch of people like having house parties with them on the TV live streaming, and they were all dancing. Like people are just, they're just going to be connected through that. And that's why I was just like, oh man, I wish they had better mic. I wish they had an engineer there, like set this stuff up for.
That's the problem. Like, do they live together? Cause
I think so. I don't know, actually. Does Armchair Boogie live together?
We'll have to ask.
They should. I mean, I saw the gig went live a little bit and had some of the Chicken Wire Empire people playing on their, like they just were there and just on the phone, and it sounded pretty good.
When we get the 5G, do you think like you'll be able to Zoom it, like video conference and play, or do you think there's too much of a lag?
Well, 5G is just the where you're gonna get the internet, and we got pretty
it's
decent
like
internet.
speeds though too, isn't it?
I mean, the speeds, the throughput, and the band, like, yeah, that's just supposed to be insane, like insanely fast. Everything's gonna be cellular. That's what they're saying, but but there's also been all these weird reports about 5G. Have you been reading some of this shit? Like, and I've been hearing that consistently since the beginning.
Yeah, there's like a war going on or something.
Well, they're saying that it's really not safe. That there's a lot of that they haven't gone through all the necessary safety precautions and such a.
So it's easier to like maybe get a hack or something.
Safe and physically, like that the signal,
like radiation stuff.
Yeah, like that's what. But people say that about everything. I don't
your
know.
Cell phone, like you couldn't put it in your pocket and stuff.
Maybe they're right. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, there's a lot of signals that can go right through your body, right? And like people will be like, "What about the neutrinos, bro?" There's trillions of neutrinos passing through you at every given second. Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, but I also have heard like from more credible people that there are major concerns and that they're, but it's hard to tell it's hard to tell what's true and what's not and shit, like what's just the Luddites and what's the what are the secret 5G bats that are going around that are infesting us with COVID-19 that the CIA is mind controlling with their their TikTok filters. You can go down to the pseudoscience, like, I don't know. But I mean, someone's saying too, like, hopefully this will just be a 1-year thing, right? Like that hopefully we'll all get immunity at least, or like get.
Well, that's what they're saying, right? You get.
It's novel, and you get. That's what Fauci said.
Yeah, I mean, I think that cures are on the way, but they have to be properly vetted to do that, and that's going to take over a year.
Yeah,
right?
Easy.
So people have already been working on it, right, since it broke out in China, and so you got to think that like they'll find something like a flu vaccine, right? That at least like people could get it in anticipation.
People say they already have it and shit, like, and that some people have it, but they got to test it, right?
Right. No, you can't just like make it and then give it to everybody because for obvious reasons.
How did that work for the polio vaccine? Did the guy figured it out, and was it just so like dope that it just fucking like everyone was just like, yeah, that's the thing, like send it out.
Yeah, that's my dad would know a little bit more about that.
This is the shit, Sean. If you're listening,
that's
text Pat and tell him about it. Like, I mean, the Spanish flu, like that shit didn't have a vaccine, right? It just came and went, right? Apparently, it's not from Spain. Coronavirus isn't from China. Or though it is from China, technically. But not anymore. Someone was saying like, oh, now the Chinese are like, get away America. It's the American virus. It's like, well, I don't know. It also started in China. I mean, I don't know. I think the whole thing, there's a lot of nationalism with that shit too, to be like, China did this and China. I think there's a lot of concern that people should be having. I don't know. I talked to a lot of people that are like, it's just this whole America, like, and the American exceptionalism, where it's like, I think we're just witnessing the like everything points to like the fall of an empire. You know what I mean? It's just like the Congress is completely worthless. Like the people are just fat and comfortable. And it's hard, there's this huge income inequality. Like people aren't fat and comfortable. People, I mean, to a degree, like it's like the bread and circus, right? It's like here's all the, so maybe this thing is like there's no sports, there's no way to, now it's like there's just like
there's
a
no
little
way to escape it.
Yeah, there's little there's much less to distract you from, like maybe you're like like I said, what's important
or
in
there's
your
more
life.
to distract you now, just because of the echo chamber that is
Fear is a pretty big distractor, and there's a lot of fear in COVID-19, and that's the thing is, it also is perfect for dictators, and which is also a perfect thing that happens at the end of the fall of an empire, like with Nero and shit. Is like all these things are breeding, like they're, I don't know. That's my fear. It's like, what kind of future are we gonna have going forward? Because China, there's things to be concerned about. Like China, like the great majority of all the materials for our pharmaceuticals and our vaccines and all these things are from China. Like the majority of it comes there, because we have a global market now, right? Which, I'm all for that. I think that's great that people trade and shit. But at the same time, it's like, these are vital things for, like, these are really essential things to, like, this is opening our eyes to, like, why did we think that was a good idea? Like, I think people maybe have just lost sight. Like, that's why I guess I meant with the comfort. It's like 1918, that was the Spanish flu. Like, we never got invaded in World War II. We got Pearl Harbor, but that was like in Hawaii, like way away there. And like, yeah, people died in the war, of course, but like, and from that, and that was a tragic event. But like, it wasn't like an invasion, and there wasn't like bombing. That's what someone was saying. Like, we never got the like universal health care, because we never experienced, as citizens, we never experienced this like, holy shit, we need healthcare. Like, what the fuck? Like, we need this now. Whereas like in England and France and shit, that was intense warfare. So they were like, nah, no, we all get this.
Yeah.
And whereas like maybe now we're getting a little bit of an insight into like what that feels like to be on lockdown, to be on a high alert, to be in a war, more or less, like a war with an invisible virus that's like infecting our people, that we have to, yeah, it's crazy. It's good whiskey. Bushmills.
Yeah. No, I feel like we're going to learn a lot, but, hopefully there's some things we can look forward to after this.
Yeah, right. It's going to be over, right? Eventually.
Be able to go outside.
Finally.
And
you can still go outside, man.
Actually,
play soccer. Hug your loved ones. I feel bad for the people in the city that are living alone, like, or like, my mom is a home care nurse, geriatric nurse, and she's got a patient in a home, but she like doesn't leave her room, like she's in there every day, and my mom goes and like spends a few hours just like human contact.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's like that shit in a home like that with all these old people is like terrifying, right? Like, as soon as it spreads, if they were going about their day, if they were walking outside, that virus could spread like that. And that's what happened in Seattle, and that was like one of the huge like first blows to like America, was like these. Actually, my buddy Shafiq was, I forget what town near Seattle. It was some place where it was like ground zero, where like there was a home of just a bunch of elderly people that was like boom, just like wiped them all out. And that was like the first like, holy shit. This is a real fucking, the viri. I don't know like. So it's been 2 weeks since you've been working from home.
Yeah. Since the day the NBA.
Since then, then I knew shit was fucked.
I knew there were problems in Tom Hanks. That was
and Tom Hanks, yeah.
That was the start. But yeah.
How's he doing?
I think he's better now. I got better.
I'm getting better. I'm not dead yet. Yes, what? I feel happy. You should watch that movie. It's a good. It's a good movie for this time. These times, it's some just silly Monty Python. Yeah. Yeah,
that's one thing that I'm not much of a like Netflix binger. It's hard to like hold my attention for 3+ hours of like the same type of show or something.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of those times where like it's pretty much the only thing to do. So I've been watching Twin Peaks. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
I saw you seeing it.
Yeah, It was good.
It's classic, apparently.
Well, not quite done yet. I got like 5 episodes left.
It's good.
And Better Call Saul, catching up on Netflix there.
That's a good one. I should get back to that one.
Yeah, living in that world of Breaking Bad is pretty fun. Even to see some like, some backstories to it. So
Yeah, they got who's the Trout?
Mike, yeah,
He's in there.
I gotta admit, don't like his storyline so much in the.
Did you ever think he was too old for his role? I feel like,
and it shows even more in
he's
this
older
series
now,
because
too.
he's even older.
He's supposed to be younger in the show, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Great actor. Like I like his shit, but like, yeah, some of those moves that he was doing in Breaking Bad was like, you're like 80 years old. You can't do that.
There's this one scene where I don't know how much you want me to get into it, but there's some Germans involved. These Germans are working on the underground lab. They're like blowing out the concrete and stuff.
Oh, for the Pollos Hermanos
yeah,
thing?
he like underneath the laundromat.
The laundromat.
Gus gets these like Germans.
Yeah, wait, no, it was before. Yeah. I'm catching up in my brain.
So he's building out this underground lair for the lab, right? But they have to blast rock and stuff. So they get these fancy Germans, and there's just this one scene where they're all like arguing, and then Mike comes in and he says something in German, but you can tell it's this like terrible, like
it's like no dialect coach, or they just did a few.
That and like he would never say that in general. Just
Yeah, like
his
why is he saying
character.
some German? It's like, oh, he knows German. Trout.
Well, and that they make fun of it too.
Okay, so
he doesn't know any German.
Wait, who makes fun of it? The people that he said.
Germans.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay, so they weren't like portraying him as a person who knew German really well. He just like came in and tried to say some German.
right, because like
Gotcha.
he's the enforcer, and he like tries to say 9 or something like that, and it was obviously not his best scene. But great show, like honestly,
Yeah.
the development
I
of
liked
Bob
it.
Odenkirk's character. was
Dude, yeah,
great,
that
and-
dude's a great fucking actor. Like, and the whole thing with his brother, really, really compelling. Like that. When I've only seen the first few seasons, and that really got me. That like
Yeah, it
brother
was
to brother, like when it all came revealed that there was this big rift, and layers kept coming
it
off
keeps going.
about like how deep this rivalry goes, and how they're both like super super. Yeah, and the guy's what's that thing called with his what did he call it? Like where he's sensitive to electromagnetism or something, or you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
This whole electricity,
all these buzzes and whirs and
5G. He's probably not a fan of 5G.
no, it drives him crazy. And
Do you think it's real? Do you think it's a real thing, or do you think because he like there was a bunch of times where Saul proved that it was not right? Like that's one of the last episodes I saw. I mean, that's no spoiler, really, I guess, but whatever. The show's been out forever.
Electricity is real. I've definitely.
Have you gotten
felt it.
shocked? Have you ever gotten shocked?
Yes, I was doing some electrical work, and
When?
when I was working for my dad one summer,
Okay.
so we were installing a few things, and like I have, they got these tiny screwdrivers to do it, and I was unscrewing like the faceplate of a, for the plugs. Where for the wall
For
socket.
amps? Oh, yeah, and you didn't cut the power.
And it slipped right in, and I felt it. And I mean, I've like,
For a moment?
yeah, and some other low voltage shocks. Fortunately, no like 480. That would be.
I got shocked once. I was fucking with a power supply of a computer. I wanted to know what it looked like when it was running. And same thing. Screwdriver accidentally.
You want to know what's the worst is like when you
That hurt.
when you're talking on a microphone and the microphone's not grounded
Yeah,
properly.
I just hate that.
And you get it on your lips and it just like.
It was like put a sock on it, and then they put a sock on it, and
still
then it
does
sounds like shit, and you can, and you still do. It's like no, just turn the gain up. But then if it's a house show, then it's like shitty, and there's a sound engineer. Like that happened. That happened when I was on tour. Great. It was a fun show at Denton, the university there.
I've been through Denton before.
Great house scene, house show scene there, with the college scene there. Like major props to all the folks that like let us into their house just like on a fucking whim and just let us crash on the couch and like put on a show. They forgot to collect money at the door, but that's fine. I sold some merch. And made some got some new fans, but that's part of the I realized because I had messaged like 30 houses, like that's how big this scene is. Like there's tons of them, and there's a really good community for it. And I realized that Facebook was like blocking my messages because I was posting like just sending them my whole like spiel that I would email with like 10 links. And so Facebook was putting it right into spam. Yeah. And then I started not doing that, and then all those people responded. And so then when the first one that responded, Margie House, shout out to the guys at Margie House. I've been they're still putting on shows and stuff, and at least
hopefully not right now.
Yeah, hopefully not right now. I'm sure all colleges canceled, gigs are canceled, NBA's canceled, baseball is canceled. Everything is canceled. Not Netflix. Netflix is on fleek.
Not this podcast.
Not Cullahcast. Can't cancel Cullahcast.
Can't cancel the Cullahcast.
Can't cancel it. Yeah, I might have to. You might have to figure out how to do that. Calling someone. Well, that's the plan. Is to just do a video conference and.
No, there's not
the same. But
there's a radio talk show I like to listen to at work. And like even that radio talk show is now like all at home folks. It's like a sports show, sports radio, but like all those people are at home now, and it's just like pretty unlistenable too.
Yeah. So that's the thing is I hope this is listenable, and that I hope that it's some little technical things make a big difference. Like we were scrambling right before this to fix some nasty shit. That would have been awful if we went the whole thing. That happened a couple of the times. Those first Cullahcasts, I was using that banana plug.
And you didn't know it?
I didn't know it. And then I heard back that there was all these garbles. And so like whole podcasts were just ruined. An hour and a half of chatting. But I don't know. Can you guys hear us all right? It might be, I don't know if it's too quiet. It looks like it's all right, but
Shane was talking to us, and I gotta think that.
Smoky Water says love isn't canceled. That's great. That's the type of attitude we need. Love isn't canceled, that's for sure. What would it take for love to be canceled?
I was
thinking need a couple more coronavirus.
I've become that old man who just stares out my window. I'll get up from my chair and just look out the window, and there's still like spring happening out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
like,
it's still life, dude.
The trees aren't budding quite yet, but there's definitely stuff coming up. And
there's birds everywhere. I can hear them.
Oh yeah. I've been getting in. There's the house right next to us, that blue one. They have a bird feeder over there, and there's a bunch of them. And I think it's like a wren of some sort, and there's a blackbird. I saw a pigeon the other day out there. Man,
fucking pigeon,
good stuff.
Yeah, there's a bird app that I was told by Zach Hubert called Mullen. Mullen. You can download it, and you can like identify.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting that.
I was thinking, man, we should go fishing more, and we should go bird watching and shit. Like, if we're stuck together, you might as well do some real shit.
I got some poles.
I got a pole.
You can go down to the river.
Yeah, I've been going down there, but we can go to better spots. I think. Like,
I usually go up to Estabrook.
Yeah,
Estabrook's a good.
I was gonna say the beer line spots. Like, there's okay spots, but
it's just been wet and it rained a lot last weekend, so the river's pretty high. It's not like a lot of flow going through there, so
volume and quality are solid. Great.
Can you hear this?
I'm sure they could hear that. Can you hear this? Why'd I do that?
Yeah, that's
that was whiskey. That's not. That burns.
That firewater.
Woo! Straight from Northern Ireland.
Well, yeah.
It sounded a little bit like a bong rip before. But yeah, we should go fishing and bird watching. We should just spend the weekends bird watching and fishing. I'm down with that.
Absolutely.
Might as well. Like,
You got your license?
I don't have a I don't have.
I guess
it
they're
renewed.
not really enforcing it right now. Well, they might be. They
State
probably
parks
should
are
be.
free.
Yeah, but I don't think they're patrolling. Like the DNR is actively like.
I'll just be like, I'm sorry, officer, I can't show you my license because it's got coronavirus on it. No, they could just look it up online, right? I could ask you for your name. But, yeah, I mean, it's $20. I can do that.
It's $20.
I can do that.
I was just bummed I didn't get to go ice fishing at all. Got all this like gear for it, and it just was too warm pretty much all winter.
Really? I mean, you
And I was super busy during
could have
February.
gone up north.
And that's kind of the nice thing about this is like my February was really busy, so I did get like a lot in before
Yeah, right.
this all came crashing down. My brother got to come up, went to a Bucks game. Shout out PJ. And like still got plenty of stuff to do. You kind of realize though on the weekends that like all you used to do was like go out and eat or go to bars.
I mean, I realize that.
Chris was saying, from our trivia group, he was like, "See you guys in 4 months for trivia." And
He's
I'm
pretty
starting to like think he was probably right.
Yeah, he's right, man. At least. That's what's crazy, man.
He was asking if we were gonna play.
If we're gonna play some music.
No, this trivia.
Oh yeah, there's online trivia we can all play together. Yeah, that's the thing is I've been Zoom conferencing with some friends, like Zoom conference with my friends from Trinity College the other day, and Hurley messaged me. Hurley, get on that shit, dude. You're probably not watching this, but if you are, where's
Get
the
on Zoom?
Yeah, what are we doing?
I don't have Zoom.
Everybody's got. You can just download it. It's just like, apparently they're saying it's end-to-end encryption, and then it's actually not. But
What
it's
like WhatsApp?
Yeah, it's a video conferencing app, and it's pretty reliable and pretty solid. And there's some quirks with it, of course, with every little bit of software, but from what I've been using, it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, we should definitely go fishing. I mean, what else? What else is there to do?
Yeah.
Until just going outside is illegal.
Yeah, I've been hearing some stuff of like people in Italy and whatnot. Like, if you don't have a dog, you can't go outside.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna get like that here. I mean, in the sense of maybe if you like go, and that's the if you go into more remote areas, right? Like people just have to spread out. That's the problem. It's like because of
in a
this
city like Milwaukee,
right? You just have
or
to have to leave
Chicago.
the city. And that's the thing is if you don't have a car, you're probably fucked. And if you live alone, you're fucked. It's like, what do you do? That's probably the worst. Is people that live alone that don't have a car. Actually, I heard stories of elderly people that are living alone that got the virus and died, and they're just dead in their fucking apartments or houses or wherever they're at. Like, but I think just get up real early. Go
somewhere.
up north.
Wish I had a boat.
Too bad my dad sold the shack. I mean, you can. Well, shit. I was gonna say rent canoes, but I don't know anyone who's got a canoe.
Most places aren't renting right now. One thing that I've also kind of been doing is like looking back at my music library, like whatever's on my digital music library, like my Google Play, and just like going back and listening to some old albums that I've never, like I didn't You know, that when you had an iPod, you used to like listen to the albums all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas like now it's playlists. So like going back and listening to some good albums from the past.
Yeah. Albums are great. That's how I try. I've been listening to more playlists lately, but as soon as I hear a good song, like that really compelled me, or like maybe I'm just listening, because usually I listen to shit like while I'm working or while I'm doing shit, and then I go like, oh, what that? Oh, that's fucking dope. And then I click on, I'm like, who's that artist? I don't know. And I click on the album, and then I listen to the whole album, and then all of a sudden, you know, it could be like, okay, that album is solid, or it could be like, damn, who is this person?
Yeah,
and I become obsessed.
It'll add the perspective, you know, like is this a one hit wonder type of deal?
Right.
Or...
Is this just one good song, or is this like a solid album?
Well, and that's, I mean, because for us, like growing up, we went from, you know, CDs to MP3s to like digital streaming, you know, like I used to work at a library.
What's the next thing?
And like would be able to bring home CDs all the time.
You worked at a library?
In high school. I would like...
The public library?
Yeah.
Or the high school
books.
library?
Public library. DNPS. Franklin branch.
What is that? The Des Moines Public Library?
Yeah,
Oh.
DNPL. Did I say S? Des Moines Public
MPS.
Schools. Also, shout out to Roosevelt. There was a...
So you had to use the Dewey Decimal System?
Yep. Dewey Decimal. And CDs were in alphabetical order.
How does that work with it? Oh, so you...
By artist.
But didn't they also have to have a code? But what if you get a new artist that's like before someone? I guess I don't know.
The CDs weren't in... They weren't in...
They weren't in the Dewey. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember those were always in a separate place in different, like, containers.
Right, but this was at the same time as, like, the iPod. Once it started getting, you know, more than 5 gigs on it, you know, and so
Dude,
I would just come home and rip CDs all the time.
Gigs.
Yeah, they were like 160. I think there was a 320 gig one.
Damn, yeah. Now we're all...
And I found mine the other day because I moved into the other room and can't even turn them on.
Your iPod's broken?
They're busted.
Yeah.
I hope there's
probably
some
need a new battery or something. Can you plug it in to your computer?
Yeah, with that old bar.
Mm-hmm. USB 2.0?
No. It's like that special iPod.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's USB 2.0. I got one of those too. I got an iPod Classic. Yeah, Yeah. I don't know what... I don't know. That's what I like about Google Play, but apparently it's being phased out, and it's going to be YouTube Music now. And so now, like, all my albums, like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know what this is even going to look like. I don't even know what YouTube... Like, there's a YouTube Music beta, but it's bullshit. Like, there's barely any content on it. So it's like, what are you doing, Google? Like, what is happening here? Like, how are you going to... Google Play's interface is already shitty enough. Like the radio is is okay. Like, things are okay.
I would... Yeah.
Do you use it in your browser, or do you have the desktop app?
I use it in my browser.
There is a desktop app that's still
but
semi-functional.
It's my work computer. I really shouldn't be downloading like outside apps. And like, I agree, but I can't use Spotify at work either. I can't stream, like, it's a blocked.
Why don't they want people to listen to music? Or is it because podcasts are on there too?
You know, it's just company policy, I guess. I think it's also bandwidth stuff that, like... Really? They don't want because, like, there's a lot of warehouse workers, so, like, everybody could technically be, like, streaming this stuff. I don't know. Not my decision to make.
Yeah.
But Google Play works.
Yeah, they're not going to block Google's servers. Yeah, I remember I worked at a place that blocked, like, everything. It was irritating. I found a website to do something. I don't know. I had to find other places where I could stream video because YouTube was broken, and like I
can't do that, right?
Yeah, I found it wasn't broken. It was blocked. It was crazy. I did not like working there. But it was a very eye-opening experience. In the place in Menominee Falls called FIS. They're just like a really old school like 80s development firm that like it's like straight up Dilbert.
Cubicle stuff.
Yeah, cubicles. They got bought out by like if in the past like 20 years they've been rebought by like Fortune 100 companies and Fortune 500 like all the workers there have like guaranteed pensions as part of their contracts of like staying on.
Yeah, if they just don't leave.
Yeah, if they just don't leave, exactly. And so, like, most of them are just, like, there, just doing their shit. Like, half of them don't even want to be there, but they're just waiting till they can... But they, you know, they can't get fired, basically, without really fucking up. But, yeah, it was... I remember, like, being up there one, and I'm just, like looking at my computer, coding, like, thinking about something, or, like, doing something, or, like, writing something down, and I have my feet up on my desk. And this guy comes, he's like, look at this kid. The average person there is probably 50. He's like, look at this kid, thinks this place is Google or something. And I was just like, what? And just like walked away. But it was like, I was like, wow, like these people are super uptight. Like, let me do my work. I'm a fucking intern, dude.
Different style of work. Those are the people that went from working with paper to having to being forced to use a computer now and do everything digitally and. You know,
yeah, it's probably not the best for posture. You know, I could see that, but I don't know, man. Like, the guy behind me, man, he's the worst job ever. Or he just had he was the sickest person. He probably has one of the biggest impacts in my life of anyone ever. Is because every day he'd get phone calls from people and he'd just be yelling into the phone. This isn't my job. This isn't my job. Stop. Like, why do you guys I hate why you guys keep calling me and asking me to do this. This isn't what I do. But then it was like someone had a problem with their code or something and he had to go in and so he would end up fixing it anyway. After, like, every time he would just do it. He would complain and then he'd do it. He had a limp. I remember the craziest time is when I went into the men's room and first I heard a stall. Someone in a stall just being like, just like painful, like not having a good time, like really, really, really not having a good time. And
he's probably trying to get you out of there.
Scared, like, get out, leave me alone. This is my only time alone. But like, then he you know, I'm washing my hands like horrified, and he comes out of the stall, just bright red face, just like breathing deeply, heavily, not deeply, heavily, and I was just like, I got out of there as fast as I could, but then I'd see every day he'd drink a Diet Coke every other hour, and he would eat lean cuisine for lunch. And I just was like, I remember having a thought. He like mentioned something about what he's gonna do after, about like crack open a cold one. It's like, man, he's sitting all day doing something he doesn't want, and then he's gonna go right home and he's gonna sit and watch TV and do the same, just sit and sit and sit. And
what do you do all day?
I sit all day. I try to walk around, man. I do yoga every day too, though.
It's nice to have a set of stairs to at least like go up and down.
No, it's a problem, man. Now you understand my problem of like. Some of my neurosis is like just being stuck in the same spot for most of the time, like not being able to go from place to place. Right. You start to get a little crazy, and like when you're stuck in one spot and you're like last year, I remember with my album release was like that. I remember it was like weeks where I would like keep the burner on. I remember that, like that was,
do you remember that?
That was fucked up. Like there was a couple weeks where that was happening. Like I remember there was a few days in a row where that happened, and it was just like totally not present, totally not like, totally just
kind of going through the motions a little bit.
Yeah, just like putting it on low for some reason when I could just turn it off. You know, like it's just weird, doing weird things that you know. But so every other day I've been walking. I've been going for a walk every other day, doing yoga every day. Wake up to do just a 20-minute yoga in the morning when I wake up before doing shit.
Yeah, what
it helps.
Like,
makes a big difference actually.
Because that's like something that's new for me too. Is like I don't have to wake up an hour and a half before going into work, which is super nice. You know, because
No commute.
I work in Kenosha, which is like 40 minutes away, and you know, it's nice to like kind of have that routine of at least waking up, making a pot of coffee and stuff. So it's just felt a little different.
You don't make coffee here?
No, I do. I definitely make
I
some
haven't
today.
smelled it. I've been
Probably
I've been
'cause
waking up
yeah.
later.
Probably because I wake up 2 hours before you.
Last night I went to bed a little earlier, but I've been waking up at like 11.
I've been going to bed earlier. That's kind of like I'm in bed by 9.
Because you still got to get up at a certain time though, right? And still clock in or.
Yeah, but I feel way more comfortable like going to bed right now, just because.
Oh, just wait.
This is only week 3 for you, huh, buddy? First time.
No, it's different. I'm sure you have like I'm sure you have like meetings or like responsibilities at certain times that help. I mean that makes having those set things is what keeps your routine. Whereas like mine is just so in the air.
And I haven't
I can stay
really-
up late if I'm feeling it. I'll just stay up until 3 a.m. because I'm grooving.
Right. And I haven't really compromised on that. Like, I don't really want to because still work, you know. And
Well, things got to be slowing down, right? Like, it's hard to know like how much.
it really is hard to know.
Yeah.
But you know, I work kind of like I said in the wastewater industry, and that's a pretty vital infrastructure. So projects that we're working on kind of have been continuing.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be out in Denver in like June, July-ish. So like when people are kind of projecting things like coming back, maybe.
Not gonna happen, dude. I
do think it would happen. I don't know. Like, I do think
These
it
are
would
in
happen
different
when
states too, right?
Yeah.
Different. I mean, I guess if you're essential, which it probably is, right? Like
it is just like
water treatment is pretty essential.
it's obviously not in service right now. Like, you know, we're building it, but
You can tell everybody what you. I should have said at the beginning, but
oh, now we're just getting in my.
I was gonna say, can you tell everyone what we're talking about, or like what it is that you do for your job?
Yeah, it's I work for a company that does stuff with biosolids, nutrient removal and recovery from solid waste streams, like wastewater treatment. When you flush your toilet, it goes to a wastewater treatment plant, and this is just one particular part of the treatment process, overall treatment process that it goes through. So we're trying to harvest and mitigate phosphorus from going out in the liquid stream back into the Lake Michigan over here and other waste streams. So it's part of a wastewater treatment process.
And your role is to like oversee installments.
We have some new installations that are going in, 2 in Colorado, which I'm pretty psyched about going back out there to
shouts out to Colorado.
Start those back up. I'll talk to you, Shane.
He says hit me up when you're there.
Yeah. And
where is it at?
one's in Denver and one's in Fort Collins. So I'll probably be going back and forth between those two, and honestly, if things were kind of how they were, right? Like before this, I would have probably been out there for a month or two, going between the two places. We'll see how things change with this. We haven't talked too much about the startup schedule yet, but that's supposed to happen this summer. I'm kind of looking forward to it. So
yeah, I would imagine it's still going ahead, right, with you guys. I would imagine it kind of has to.
Only because it's under contract. There's like timelines and stuff.
But it's pretty essential. Like I still see motherfuckers doing construction work. You know what I mean? Like I still.
Right. I mean, that's who I'm communicating with.
Yeah.
Those people are building it actively, and I'm coordinating the equipment that we ordered for this project. With them. So that's why, because I don't necessarily deal with a lot of people at my office, Only a few coworkers, and
Right, you're
that's
more
kind of what
when
makes
you go to the job sites, then you start dealing with people.
right. That's where the actual process is. Like when things go wrong, that's where I gotta go. So
Did you check to measure the valve? Is the valve on
have you
correctly?
tried turning it off and on again?
Are you in
It's not
metrics
always that
or imperial?
But yeah, I like.
Did you ever have to like take someone's plan and like put it upside down and be like, no, you're looking at it wrong?
No, not. It's usually happening to me, to
Yeah,
be
you're-
honest. So.
They're like, it should be upside. Oh shit! Fuck! I knew that. I was just testing you. Yeah, it's a weird thing working from home to a degree. Like, yeah, it's well, now it's not just working from home. A lot of people are just at home, quarantined, and from my experiences, I don't know. It's more real for me too. Like now, I'm like, yeah, like I've been working from the same place every day, and it's like, and that's what I like tell myself is like nothing's really changed that much in my lifestyle,
Yeah, but-
except for
But an option has been taken away from
big
from you.
option. I can't even. I'm
Lots of options.
Like I'm debating even like the safety of even going to see my parents and like going to my family's house in Glendale and like doing my laundry and like which I normally would do, where it's like, well, now I got to go to the bank. So it's like, what do I go to the bank and like risk myself or like risk the people at the bank, or do I go to my house?
Yeah.
And I do that, but I also have to go to the bank and do other things too. So it's like, well,
I'm
maybe I
gonna
should
need
go.
some quarters too.
Dude, I'm out, man. I got like 2 pairs of underwear left and like I got a few more. I got plenty of socks still, but like I need to do laundry. So I'm gonna go to the bank. So maybe I should get $20 worth of quarters.
Oh yeah, that's what I was. 2 rolls. That'll last you at least a few months.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. Cause I gotta get it. I gotta deposit some cash and I mean I have it's like $20. I don't have any cash here, but no, I gotta separate the credit cards, personal and business. It's an important.
What's
piece of
your
the
bank
equation.
account number?
256789219. It's only a few
Mother's
numbers.
maiden name?
Wolf.
And social security number.
I got an EIN now. Cullah LLC. You know what's crazy? And I told this to the U.S. bank guy was that I went to talk to the small business guy. Was people have been writing me checks to Cullah for gigs,
okay.
and they've
Your
cleared.
stage name.
And it's like there's nothing like my last name is not spelled the same way.
No, it's not.
And but it worked twice. It happened twice. I think maybe it's just because I have like I don't know, maybe because I do it regularly and like
Did you do it through the phone?
yeah,
See, I feel like that can
it's a robot that's like checking it maybe.
that can go through because it's a little it's
probably a robot that's just like
right. Like I think they're looking more at the numbers, the router numbers.
right. Yeah. Well, I got it now, so it's fine. But I was looking and everything. Finances are all right. Like I am in that boat. Like I can't gig. And there was a bunch of gigs that were coming up that were nice, like good.
Yeah,
good
I was
gigs
really looking forward to going out.
Of
west.
course, yeah, and the fucking tour, Jesus Christ, dude. Like,
I took 2 weeks, more than 2 weeks off work, and
well, I don't-
now I'm just gonna have to say, well,
coronavirus, dude. Everything's fucked.
it's funny because I emailed my boss and I was like, I'm gonna take this time off work. I can obviously work, like bring my computer with and try and respond to emails, but with this coronavirus stuff, and that was like the week before, and I was like, with all this like coronavirus talk, like this possibly won't happen, and I'm like glad I put it in there.
When you asked, you were talking about coronavirus then too. When that was,
It was like 4 or 5 weeks ago.
yeah. I guess that's when everything really like finalized. Was,
Like you were saying, that's like Seattle when that stuff was happening, and I was like, there's no way that
yeah,
because like that's where we were going to.
yeah,
you know?
literally. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, fuck, we're going straight into the heart of it.
Yeah. So.
Well, we'll reschedule it for August or something. got to talk to the San Francisco people. Hit me up today, and they were like, "Yeah, so." I was like, "Well, the most professional, one of the more professional." Although So Far Sounds, shouts out to So Far Sounds, because we were gonna play So Far Sounds in L.A. and they paid everyone their gig money that they were
Like
gonna
they
get,
had to
which is
cancel?
like I mean, most of the people just get $100, but most of the money you make from So Far is from like merch sales and shit.
Sure.
But because it's like a guaranteed audience, but everyone gets like 100 or 200 usually, and so it was. I mean, shouts out to them because they just dispersed that all to everyone who was gonna play in April. Like everything's canceled, but they're giving everyone their money. Like that's all amazing. That's great.
Man, all that stuff happens so quick.
But yeah, it's all canceled. But we'll reschedule. You know, now we got all these contacts now. It should be easier the second time around. You know, it would do the same. We could probably do the same route, to be honest.
Well, if I guess you can't even like book for that East Coast stuff either, because
It's gonna have to be like August, September. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's like, and that's what I was hoping to go to Europe. So like I guess probably do Europe in the spring or like in the winter. I don't even know, dude. It's just, I feel like everything is just pushed back 6 months. That's what I've been trying to tell myself in my head. Like everything is just pushed back. Like just imagine if these next 6 months, it's just like next 6 months where I live on the internet. That's kind of how I see it.
everybody's living on the internet.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting too, is I've been seeing artists, like you were talking about artists and how they're adjusting to being in social media, like Jack Johnson and stuff. But it's like, I know artists that are like peace and be like, nope, no social media, see ya. That's like, this is the time to do it. I don't know. That's how but I grew up like living on the internet, and I grew up doing that. So like, that's where the majority of the base of my following from an early age was all from internet people. Like all I only shared my music on the internet, and that's how I got.
Right.
I only started performing in 2017. So like it was like. Then I realized, oh, this is a whole nother game that needs to be played, but you can't play that game anymore. Temporarily, at least. So I don't know. Yeah.
Right, because that's how we kind of met up. Because I was I'm more used to doing live shows. Like, I never got too far into the posting stuff on YouTube and stuff. I have a couple songs that I recorded on GarageBand for, like, you know, the iMac.
Shouts out to iMac.
Yeah. Go on YouTube and look up Rainbow Connection and RoboCop. Yeah, those ones are.
Well, you have a channel? For your channel?
Yeah, it's an old channel. I don't like. I just don't post much. But I was like,
If someone just searched Rainbow Connection, they probably won't find you.
well, in my name.
Yeah, okay, then they search your name
pop
too.
up.
Yeah, okay. Just clarifying.
But that I grew up doing live performances, like playing in church and stuff, and so like always enjoyed, you know, just the live aspect of music or performing for people when you know that like you can do it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like that's why it's kind of been fun playing with you, because on the creative end, you know, like I don't use these like social media stuff, but being able to like bring some of this music to life, like with all your previous records and stuff, just like finding deep cuts to like try and bring out and try out. I think we could have done some interesting stuff with that tour.
Yeah, definitely.
Found some weird ones to.
There's tons. I forget. Like, I go back and I'll be like, holy shit, I forgot about that song. And be like, or that's what I was thinking too about, like, oh, trio. Well, let me just listen and see what tracks have a trio ensemble. Yeah. Like, and then just play that. Like, that seems like the obvious solution. And, you know, but, you know, August. But I've been talking with No Studios and with some other people, and gonna like try and find some partners to do a album release live stream. So if you want, I mean, I think it'd be fun if we could play together, you know, and really, you know, turn it into. I mean, just two people better than one, I think, when it comes to.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know about drums. We could ask downstairs neighbors. Maybe they. I don't know. They haven't complained yet, but I still have this thing in the back of my head. Like, I don't know. Do you ever hear me in here?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, goddamn.
Like actually, I think
It's from the HVAC.
yeah, it travels like up. I hear it through the ceiling.
Yeah, because when I hear you've been playing guitar.
Yeah, a couple times.
I've been here, but it feels like it's coming out of the window. How much do you hear?
It's muffled, but like I can definitely hear like melodies and like
Like when I'm playing
Tones.
guitar or something, or like,
yeah,
or when I'm singing.
not so much when you're singing yet.
Okay, because I haven't yelled. That's the thing. It's like that, and that's why this
I
whole
think one of
last
those live
record.
streams I was hearing you.
Yeah. But just a little bit, because that's
no, it's not like overpowering.
yeah. That's what I get concerned about it, because I hold back, and I like get nervous that like I'm like
Yeah.
ruining someone's night, or like downstairs.
Right.
I hear that I can literally hear them talking, so there's I don't hear what they say, but it's like muffled,
Right.
or sometimes I'll hear like, oh my god, or whatever it is. But it's like I know they can hear me when I go, where did you? Like whenever I
Welcome to Mullen.
like I know they can hear me to a degree. So but every time we go out and they're smoking, they just go, oh hi, how's it going?
Yeah, they got that Midwest nice kind of
Yeah.
attitude about
In the
them.
first couple of weeks, well, I remember being like, so I'm a musician, but I might be loud. They're like, oh no, they were like, no, stop. Like, so I'm like, okay. But I get concerned about it because it's like Shane was saying 11 is too late to wake up to, but like there's also people in England and Germany and Greece
Right.
and all these people that also they wake up, I guess I could do an earlier live stream, but like I've definitely done it where I've streamed in the middle of the night and gotten like people from Turkey and France and
Sure.
all these people that just show up and be like, so I mean, I don't know, if for me it's like if I'm being productive, I'm gonna stay up. But if I'm just tired, like last night I was just tired, and I'm just like, I just need to go to bed.
Sometimes you're just tired.
And I tried reading, and I fell asleep reading for like a solid 10 minutes, and like with my arm like this, with the book still open, I woke up with the book, and I'm like, I need to go to bed. Jesus Christ!
It's usually how I read a book.
What, eyes closed?
I'm like, wait, what were the paragraph I just read?
That's what I'm trying to do more, is read, man. I have so many books. I went on a book buying spree recently, and I just bought like all of Carl Jung's books, and which are cool, but they're not like, I don't know, they're not as engaging. It's really scientific and it's really heady. There's cool stuff. Like I've been dreaming these past couple of nights.
That's always good.
But I've been dreaming about like murdering people, like shooting them.
That's not as good.
Oh yeah, I think it's like I don't know. I was dissecting it today, trying to figure out like what all that is and what it means. I think it has a lot to do with like the uncertainty of things now and and the uncertainty of I don't know.
Just at the moment.
Yeah, it's like it's exacerbated. It's exacerbated
Bumping my camera, man.
deeper things, deeper insecurities or things that are coming out lately, like with cultivation, is like this real like trying to remember, like try to remember, like try to rebirth, try to have like ideas die and think parts of me die and like be reborn, and with that is like this real confusion of like what.
Yeah, I feel like we're gonna get a lot of Phoenix references in 2021. Just I think a lot of like events and stuff that didn't happen this year that are gonna happen like this time next year. Like people are just gonna invoke the Phoenix or some sort of like great return type of ideal.
Post-corona. That's what's been interesting to me. The corona is the crown, right? That's what corona means in Latin, right? It's crown. and the crown is, you know, obviously royalty and like power and this like archetype of the king or the queen, and it's a interesting archetype to like to think about when it comes to like, I don't know. I've been reading shit like archetypal psychology shit, and it's really fascinating about like all these dreams that we have. Like Carl Jung said that there's your ego.
Id.
Well, first there's your, well, that's
Id.
Freud, is
Yeah.
the id. There's the, what's the first layer? I forget what it is. But essentially, there's your subconscious, right? Which is like what kind of runs underneath your ego. And then below that's the shadow. But also below that is the collective unconscious. So like the primal consciousness, like the primal human, that the things that we all share in common, the experiences that humanity has gone through all over millions of years,
Right,
that we all remember.
that's been adapted to.
It's in our memory of our DNA. It's in our memories of our collective understanding of, like, that's what people say when like flood dreams or like running dreams or things are like these deep primal connections.
Falling.
Yeah, the falling dreams, like these deep existential threats that we've experienced through our history of humanity. And that, like, someone was saying earlier about Tolkien, and someone was saying this lady Becca Tarnas, she's a archetypal psychologist, and she's talking about the Atlantean haunting dreams, which is basically the flooding, like the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Noah's flood shit. Like the myth is that Atlantis was this great, you know, civilization that's not too dissimilar
Right.
from now, like really powerful technology, really high standard of living, and there was a cataclysmic event that created a huge flood that only some people survived, and then those people split off to different parts of the world, and that's what our ancient culture is like seeded by the Atlanteans. Of like the Mayans knew this information, that this is just a legend, but like that's why those dreams of floods are called that. It's like, because I've had a lot of those flooding dreams.
Okay, I thought it was always when you had to pee or something like that.
That too, probably. Actually, that's happened many times. Dude, I've had so many dreams where I'm peeing in the dream,
Yep.
and I feel the sense of relief,
Yep.
and I'm just like, and then it
Well,
slowly
a few
comes,
minutes later,
it slowly comes back
Yeah.
up, and you're like, no, I actually have to pee, and I'm like,
Yep.
it's fucking down. Welcome to the upstairs peeing problem. Gotta
is
fucking
true.
walk downstairs to pee, and just go down those fucking creaky ass stairs.
Yeah.
I always wonder about that too, but
I always had creaky stairs at home, so kind of used to it.
yeah, you get
Sure.
used to it. You know, like people get used to the white noise of around them. You know,
Like you get used to the smell of a place.
Right.
Like what? The only time I can notice any smell is when people have been cooking, right? But
Definitely.
pretty nose blind nowadays.
you know that's a symptom of corona. If you, the loss of smell.
Yeah, and taste. Yeah. No, I can taste. I can taste this Pabst Blue Ribbon here.
Yeah. Yeah, this whole time is very confusing and very uncertain and unknown, but in a lot of ways, I don't know. That's what it feels like on its surface, but in a lot of ways, it feels, I don't know. I read this thing where someone was saying, I now understand the song Ring Around the Rosie. You know, like I understand why all these old songs are about plagues and about all these terrible things that happen, because it's like, well, put yourself in a position of people experiencing that, and what is the role of song, and what is the role of this shit, and it's like those things are these deep it's a way to communicate
It's
these
a way
emotions
to spread
in the
information.
yeah, like Ring Around the Rosie, pocket full, like this is what you do, this is how we deal with this problem, this is how we deal with the black buck and plague. We sing this song so everyone can know what's going on. Whereas like, and people have been, I've been seeing a lot of memes about, here's the song I wrote in quarantine,
Nobody wants to hear your
nobody wants to hear your quarantine song.
your concept album on coronavirus.
But if someone can nail it, I mean, if someone would probably have to nail the spirit of it, right? You can't just, I feel like if it's just like, Corona, if you're just really spelling it out on
Don't
this
make
head.
it a reality show, yeah.
Right, because ring around the rosy, ashes, ashes, we all fall. That wasn't like, the Black Death is coming.
blatantly,
Here we are in the Black Death. My oh my. Yeah, and it's more about like, okay, what's happening, what's going on. I'm sure someone's working on it. I'm sure some great musician has got some
poet, yeah, for sure.
some poets I'm sure already have it figured out. What do we just do to that tune though? Because that shit's not copyrighted, for sure. That's in the public domain.
Right, along with the Happy Birthday song.
Finally, yeah, the Happy Birthday song is in a few years ago. Disney owned it before, and then, well, they bought it, or they they didn't buy it. I guess they claimed it, but then they found an older version that was in the public domain. So, coughing, got a really dry cough.
Can't taste any of my pop.
Fever. Fever. My lungs can't breathe.
I think we're on to something there.
Yeah, there you go. All right. It's been an hour and a half.
Nice.
Just keeping track of the time.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, I wonder, the thing about these podcasts is we can also turn them to audio. I put them in audio, and then I put them on all the audio podcast networks too, which is good. And I mean, this is sounding like a good one.
Yeah.
What's interesting about those is because I can, like, every podcast makes like 5 cents or something.
Sure. I mean, those are kind of like one-time listen to type. That's
right.
Podcasting in general, right?
Right. It's just like, I don't know. I started it. This is the 17th Cullahcast, and it was because for a while there I was just doing it every week, and it was pretty fun, but it got a little exhausting to a degree, but not like crazy. It wasn't like crazy.
Yeah, but you gotta like hold up a conversation for that long, right?
Yeah, they're interesting people. I think it was more exhausting. Just every week doing it and having it. I kind of went into it intending to just have like a big short spurt of like doing a bunch of them.
So then you have.
So then I have a base. Yeah, I have a base of understanding of like, okay, how do I even fucking set this up? How do I even make it work? How do I even get it live? How do I even do? Without that Cullahcast, I wouldn't have been as prepared for this live stream necessity in this like quarantine.
Right.
So like without that. Like I've been building this knowledge because of it, and and now with this I'm learning a lot more because you're forced to it. Constraints make creativity, and we got a lot of constraints now.
Yeah,
we got a lot of constraints. Got to figure out how to do a lot of shit, like no touring. I don't even know. Like I was about to go get that van, dude.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
I had called every dealership that had it. I had things like, I had a whole list. I had a bunch of people, and I had like 2 or 3 vans that I was gonna call and at least like confirm one and go and get it. But then all this shit started happening, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna wait.
No, I think.
What if it's the end of the world?
Because even money? If you got it, what would you can't even drive
exactly
it anywhere right now.
So I figure like maybe the market's gonna be so shit that people are gonna, I don't know, maybe it'll be better. I don't know. I have the money. I'm not touching it. It's staying there. So all the people that fundraise for cultivation, all the backers, like that's what most of that. That's pretty much all the money is going to that shit. Well, I bought a bunch of
Finals.
well, the vinyl. I put a down payment on the vinyl, and that's processing. The vinyl is
It's coming.
one of the biggest expenses for sure. But this year I'm getting 200. But last year I got 100, so I have like 30. That's what I was gonna do actually. But that's the thing is like so many people don't have jobs, so no one has money and shit. So it's like, how can I expect people to even buy this shit? How could I even expect anyone to spend money on this stuff? Like I don't know. I guess there's still 70% of people that still have jobs, right? But
Right. I think the real question is how do you get it from A to B, right? Like, people aren't supposed to be going, you ordered food, for delivery, right? Like, those people are going out and, they're still employed, technically.
rather essential.
And, I'm trying to, like, go to restaurants and grab food every few days, right? Like, gotten some order. Saw Lakefront's going to start doing their fish fry again on Fridays for carryout, which I'd have to try. And,
Fish fries are great.
But, yeah, I like, you can't just pause, commerce. It's not the easiest thing, but it's because, like, people still need groceries and whatnot. There's, like, that's why you call them essential things. There's just no...
When do you think the restaurant business is going to be fucked completely? I mean, they already kind of are, but, like, another month?
Yeah,
only
like,
a couple are going to survive.
How long can people hold up this carry-out stuff? It's how lucrative is it for them? People have had to change their business model overnight, right? And,
yeah. Some people aren't going to do it.
Fortunate enough to not have to be in that position, right? But can't really speak to them specifically, but it is interesting. There's a lot of people that you didn't, or like things that you realize, like you said, people take for granted, being able to have the weekend to do stuff. And like, what do you want to do? Well, we'll go get some food somewhere, And
some nights there's like 5 great places to go to with great music and
what I've noticed,
amazing restaurants.
Right, and like people that are watching shows on Netflix now, they're watching like food shows and whatnot. The whole idea of that is like they go out and interview people, like people that are like chefs at certain places, or it's like a cultural thing in and of itself. Like, think about all the brats and stuff that we could be eating right now here, and cheese fests and stuff.
I want to eat a brat.
And stuff.
I ate all my sausages. No, I mean, you're right that those are huge industries, and I don't know I don't know how long they're gonna last. Like they're gonna need a bailout for sure. Like some restaurants, yeah, we were talking about like Company Brewing and Izzy Hops. It was like still like, I mean, Izzy Hops is more of a bar than a restaurant. I feel like, I mean, they're a restaurant. They like share it with a restaurant or whatever. Like they're a bigger company, but that guy is gonna nick some of those places won't survive. You know what I mean? Maybe they will. I don't know. Maybe it's fine.
Maybe that they do.
Maybe they with the rent freeze and maybe with some shit, or maybe they get a bailout and they can last. And with these small business loans, right? Like people who still can employ people are gonna get their loans forgiven and shit, and supposedly, but like, man, you gotta assume that's the longer this shit lasts, the more at risk all these small businesses are. And
absolutely,
and they have less of leverage in Congress, where they're not, they're going to, the first thing that that Congress focused on was the corporate bailout. You know what I mean? Like that, they could have made two separate bills, one for the people and one for corporations, but they didn't do that because they needed to have them both together.
Well, and
this is both Chuck Schumer, Nancy
so
Pelosi, and well, if they, you know what I mean, they should have passed the people's one first. You know what I mean? Like that should have been a no-brainer. Like, oh yeah, let's do this, but it's not. They have to put them together because it's like, well, I had to vote for it, right? Even fucking Bernie Sanders and AOC and all these people voted for these giant corporate bailouts, robbery in progress, fucking shit, where it's like the same, you know, they vote for the same thing, but I can understand, like, it's scary, right? But it's, and there's no, the left wing doesn't have any teeth, right? They're not gonna go and push and be the people to, I don't know, like there was this Republican guy who was like, no, this is a corporate bailout. Like we all need to be here to vote, you know. And he was alone, and he just fucking. It takes balls to do that. And like, you look at that person. I'm not, you know, I don't agree with most of the things that he talks about economically. That's for sure. This guy, I forget what his name is. This Republican who, in the House, but it's like that's courageous and that's respect, you know, for like standing up for certain things. And it's just. I don't know. It's so, I'm so cynical at this shit when it comes to, like, what is this? We thought that the 08 bailout was bad. Like, what is this going to turn into now? Like, this is like quadrupling down on those policies. It's just like making it even more, like even more extraction from
Sure. It's
people.
only the start too. They're saying
there's going to be another one. I don't know. I just feel like it's clear.
I still think you gotta, like,
that's the political angle, you know?
Right. I mean, there's, like you said, there's different groups that are looking at this same.
Most people don't give a fuck.
Staring at the same.
They just want to get their check and they just want to live their life. Congress has nothing to do with their life, as far as they're concerned. As far as, you know, it feels like that to me. It's like. But now it maybe not, because it's like, well, what they did is going to directly affect. Now I'm eligible for unemployment because I'm a freelancer and a gig worker / freelancer, and now I could be eligible for some of these benefits, which is like amazing. And you know, but I'm lucky, right? I'm a single person in a cheap apartment in River West, where it's like, what about people with families? I don't know, like with debt. Like, what about the people that have to pay rent tomorrow that don't have a debt, got fired last month?
Or, yeah, laid off and stuff. They're not getting that check.
Most people are
tomorrow.
like 40% of Americans were like living paycheck to paycheck anyway. Maybe more than that. It's like crazy. And then this, and still, like it feels. You know what's crazy to me is like, you can get your COVID-19 treatment now. But you still are fucked if you have cancer. You know, like you're still fucked if you have everything else. You could have anything but COVID. Like you're lucky if you have COVID now. You know, in a way, it's a really cynical and sad perspective that I'm putting on this. But like, and it's kind of true. It's like, well, why is that so special? I guess it's really contagious, right? Cancer isn't contagious, and so it affects more people.
Yeah, you're more at risk to the public.
So I understand that, you know, but I don't know. It's a strange thing, and I don't know why. If I expected anything else, I don't know why I'm complaining, because it's like you could only have expected that based on what we know about. I don't know why I keep getting shocked and keep getting outraged when it's like I want to keep getting outraged, but also it's like, well, why am I keep? You know, it's so defeating in that way.
Well, and you know, like we're both pretty regular Twitter users, and that in and of itself is like something that isolates a lot of things for you. And we talked about it before, but it's like, I mean, you choose the people you want to follow, right? Like you're kind of curating your own, you know, I guess like you called it echo chamber, right? Where you can find what you want to find, and I think, you know, people have realized that that's what the internet can do. I'm sure you saw it too when Bowie was like talking about the internet back in the 90s.
Yeah.
And he was just
I
like,
saw that
you
interview.
guys are opening up Pandora's box, and like this is
He predicted it, man.
yeah, so ahead of his time. And he's just like floored by the concept of the internet. Like you're not creating a medium, you know, like you're creating a whole new like language basically. And how people can communicate. And you know, we're kind of like from that generation that's gone from not having it, you know, to having it. I can remember being in, you know, middle school and stuff, and you know, the internet wasn't any like it was that thing that like your parents had a computer at home, and every once in a while you could go online and play like a game, like
AOL.
Right. Like, and that was the start too, when I could
You've got mail.
When I could use my parents' old computer and like use AOL
For
to IM people.
Oh.
and AOL. But like
AOL.
that was like the first time I ever had that feeling of like, wow, I'm talking to somebody that's not even in my neighborhood, right? Like I'm not calling them like I'm communicating with somebody like sometimes like, you know, and I think it happens even with like Snapchat nowadays and stuff where you like communicate with people you'll never know, right? Like somehow you guys, you know, connected, and it's like that. I remember thinking that stuff, and it's like I'm talking to this person that like is a friend of my cousin's who lives in Michigan, and I'm like, I'll never know this person, right?
Yeah, you just know their online self. Yeah, that's
and how you can communicate that through like.
And we did have that. We did have the time without it and the time with it. So we really are on the like
razor's edge.
Yeah, the razor's edge. Because I think about my little sister Nora, and I remember asking her about her grade school dances, about like what, and she was talking. It
was lit.
Well, she was. I don't think they're ever lit. Great. Maybe they are. Maybe I just, not in the North Shore Catholic diocese. No, what's it called? But whatever. All the groups of Catholic schools in the North Shore, the grade schools, they would all come together and have dances and stuff. And it's just a bizarre thing on its face value when you just walk in, because it's like there's chaperones and kids, and then you just hear, "Oh, skeet, skeet, motherfucker!"
Yeah.
Well, not motherfucker.
I mean,
they hear, "Oh, skeet," but they say skeet.
We had those songs too.
Yeah, and it's like bizarre, and that's. I mean, it's bizarre in that sense, but then also, Nora, my little sister Nora, she's 15 now, and years ago, when she was still in grade school, and she was talking about that, she was talking about how she went and how they can just touch phones and get each other Snapchats, and then they can fucking creep on each other through Snap. Not mean creep, but you just get to see you get to go look at it. I mean, it's like Instagram or Snapchat where you can see whatever the person posts day to day. And when you're little, you post a lot of shit. You just you just do whatever. I mean, there's not like you're trying to maintain a brand or anything. No. It's just like that's just your shit. And I just blew my mind because it was like I talked to this chick on AIM in grade school, and we chatted, and she like was sent me her pixel art, and we tried to go out to a movie, and then she like, but we didn't have cell phones, so like I was like, okay, we're gonna go to this movie at this time, and we were like chatting about it, and she's like, okay, that sounds great, and I went, and she wasn't there, and I remember like telling my mom I was meeting.
Or was she?
Well, I don't think she was, because I don't know. I showed up and I was told my mom I was meeting friends, like guy friends,
right.
And I was just like, just drop me off. And I like went in, and then she picked me up, and I was like, it's fine or whatever. And I didn't really say much. But she, she stood me up, right? And like, that's what I thought. I was like, this is bullshit. And then I went back and I like logged on.
It was Chris Hansen.
I logged on to AIM, and she's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like my dad said that I can't go anymore. She sent that like, 20, 30 minutes before I heard already left.
Oh yeah.
And so she wasn't like she wasn't standing me up. She's just like, there's no cell phones.
Right. So you couldn't get that.
So she couldn't tell me.
Computer with you.
And I was like, damn, dude, that could have been great. It could have been a huge moment in my life. But instead, no, but that's, an example of like.
Well, I didn't really have a cell phone until high school.
Yeah, I went until I was 16.
And even then, it was just that T9, like the push button 1, 2, 3, 4.
Did you do T9?
Yeah, absolutely.
I didn't do T9. I never understood it.
And then I had the QWERTY. I had the full QWERTY once.
You had a QWERTY one?
Yeah, like the slide one. That was good. And then when I first got to Marquette, I had a BlackBerry.
Ooh.
Yeah, I turned it on the other day because, like I said, I was moving and I found a bunch of stuff. Still works. You can still turn it on.
I like touchscreen ones now better, but they're still thumbs, all thumbs.
True.
There's still something to be like. You can still go way faster when you go you can use all your fingers, right?
Absolutely.
But the text to speech is getting pretty good. I've been using that. Way more.
I'm a swiper.
I was called old for doing that the other day.
Text to speech.
Yeah.
To
I was
speech
like, this
to
is
text.
cutting edge technology.
Yeah. Like it can actually.
Fuck.
At the top of your keyboard, tap the microphone icon.
God damn it.
Punctual.
Oh, Kenya was there. She says, life is love. Love is life. Humans are unguided. Did you hear my quarantine song? I don't understand.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
You should ask your audience questions.
Logan says, we have no reason to be afraid. After the flood, Ishtar gave her necklace to man as truce to never do it again. If you see a rainbow, keep the faith.
Logan McDermott said that?
Yes.
Ishtar? That's the Easter, right? Goddess of fertility. Well, let's see who's in the audience. There's some audience. Shane Stiller, he says he'd be willing to. Oh, yeah, dude, Shane, let's get you on the podcast. You got Zoom or webcam next week. Let's make it happen. Unless you want to drive here and
No,
stay in a
can't do
bubble.
that.
But I've imagined we probably need you there at the VA. If you want to come hang out. But no webcam. I don't know, dude. Well, then we need a nice photo of you that can blink. You don't have a webcam?
No, you can
Use your phone.
Yeah, use the phone audio or something.
Yeah. We gotta have a webcam. That's half the fun. Otherwise, no one's gonna want to watch it. But if it's like an audio podcast, I guess it won't matter.
You could edit it a little better, right? You have the conversation whenever, and then that's
just audio.
Right, like an all audio podcast.
Either way, I mean, yeah, it's faster to edit just audio, because video, when you edit it, then you got to re-render the video, and it takes, at least on my computer, it takes a long time to render that shit, because it's not the best. It's not the best thing for. I mean, it's just a laptop, right? It's like a okay Asus laptop. I mean, I wouldn't say it's okay. I guess it's more of a like professional grade laptop. It cost over $1,000, so like it was just about.
It's gotta be worth something, right?
Yeah, it's definitely fucking holding strong and doing the shit right, and it's kept me alive for this past 2 years. So, but with this stuff, I wonder maybe what this government check it's worth to invest in another, especially if this is gonna last for like forever, like
forever.
If this is gonna last for another 6 months, I need a decent live stream like setup, because it's the only way. It's gonna be literally the only way to like this whole room is just gonna have to be all live stream like room.
Some
which maybe
Truman Show stuff.
Maybe it should have been that from the beginning. That's what I was thinking. Like I was thinking about all these people that did really well doing live streams already, and now it's like I'm like being forced into it, where it's like, well, there was nothing really stopping me from doing this before, other than the fact that I just wanted to go out and perform.
Right.
I mean, I wanted a tour. That was my main priority.
That was
like,
the goal.
But now it's like, well, Maybe the world doesn't want. Maybe the world doesn't want me to touch them within 6 feet just yet.
I wouldn't touch you with a 9.5 foot pole.
They were onto something there. Who sang that song? Do you know the person who sang it or wrote it?
No. I've heard of him before, but every Christmas he comes around and sings his song, and then don't hear him for another.
You're a
11
mean
months.
one. I can't do that. Not in that key. You're a mean one.
You're a monster.
You're a monster. You're a mean one. I can do that. You're a mean one. Oh, that's pretty good. It's all about the technique.
Sound like a bullfrog there.
One. No, that's how this guy does it in the choir. We're going up and down. He's just like,
right.
I'd have to warm up for it, but it's like, shit. It's hard to get the technique down because I'm not. When we're in the choir and I hear everyone doing it and we start to warm up, it's so easy for me to get into it. I'm not gonna do it. All right. Well, it's been 2 hours. Any audience questions? What do you guys want to know? All 3 people that are watching. Well, we got a few platforms, so I mean we've had like some folks here and there.
Yeah, we got 5 in the Facebook Live.
I didn't see Logan's comment on there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of. I guess I started a watch party. I don't even know.
Oh, so
I just saw it pop up and I said share. And
oh,
so
cool.
maybe,
Okay, so that's the. Oh, I should have done that. I should have shared it on my personal thing too.
But I guess there's a few that may have joined via that way.
Oh, sweet.
So
now I see it. Oh, that's yeah. Everyone's on there.
Hours.
Everyone's on there. Well, I mean that's kind of cool. See, this whole system is better than just going on. I would just go live on YouTube, but now it's on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and that's cool that you could do that. So then anyone could probably do that to when I go live. They can probably start a watch party separately. That's interesting though.
Yeah, because I wasn't tagged specially in it or anything.
No, yeah, you weren't. You just, yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's good to know. I'm glad you told me about that because I'll definitely do that for everyone. I can just go on Facebook real quick and press a button to host a watching party. A watch party.
I have no idea. I've never used.
But you just clicked it. It worked.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, guys.
Yeah. Thanks for. It's not like anyone else has anything else to do.
Yeah. See you again tomorrow.
Yeah. Right. No. Yeah. Tomorrow I'm gonna be live streaming again. I have a video.
Okay.
I'm releasing the first half of Cultivation Revelation.
That's the opening track.
It's the opening track on Cultivation, and I have a little animation that I had some help with.
That's what you were working on yesterday.
Mm-hmm. It's all there. I could release it now, but I'm gonna spend a few more hours tonight and really, really fine tune some of the stuff. It's about a minute, which is what they usually are. Just a little teaser.
Not too much.
Not too much. It's not as extreme as the last one was spectacular, so it's a different theme, This one, I don't know. This whole album, I'm just over it in a way.
No, that's understandable.
I'm just trusting the songs and whatever's going to happen is going to happen with them. And I have a release schedule. Part of what's nice about leaving this place and walking somewhere else is you get to have a new perspective, which I would do when I would go to gigs. When I would go see other people perform, my mind would start going in these weird ways, and I'd come to eureka moments in the middle of a gig of watching someone else, because I get to my mind gets to start working in different ways, and I get to start seeing what they're doing, and all of a sudden I'm just going, oh shit, I should do that. And this time, like that, I'm like, fuck yeah, problem solved. Whereas like when you're in the same place here and you try to like hunker down, you're like, okay, ideas. Okay, how do I organize this? You can go mad and just be like, nothing comes. All the feng shui is all fucked up, and you cannot, or whatever it is.
Right, and I think that's kind of why it's important to like be able to separate work and like leisure a lot too. Because
There's no difference in my mind.
Well,
in my world, it should be. It should be.
There may not be, but like
I don't want
to me, I get like ideas that come up when I'm not necessarily focusing on work, right? When I'm not purposely trying to, like you're talking subconscious type stuff.
Sure,
like,
it just comes up.
And it can happen when
Get
you're not
inspired,
like
yeah.
you're not particularly thinking about it at the time. Sometimes it's what brings my anxiety out, right? Because you're like, oh shit, work. I gotta start thinking about it. Like,
Right.
But sometimes it's also like, well, what if I, it's like thinking about it a different way sometimes.
Yeah. No,
and I think that's why it's important to keep them separate, because you wouldn't get those types of wait if I think about it this way.
Yeah, 100%. That's not that I went and sat by the river the other day and came up with the release strategy, which was just like, all right, one song every 2 weeks for the first 2 months. No, for the first 2 months, for April and May, and then June and July I'm going to be releasing 2 songs every 2 weeks on Spotify and all that shit.
Right. You'll have the full album up by then, right?
Yeah. On Cullah.com it'll all be up, but it'll just be all timed out for like release on all the platforms.
So you're saying you won't have all your songs on Spotify until July?
July, yeah. It seems like it's just the best strategy for what Spotify wants, and people can wait a few months if they, like, it's just what it is. That's the platform.
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people get your albums right away, and I mean, if they want it, obviously they could.
But to be honest, when I look at like the numbers from last year about like how many people were listening to the album versus how many people were listening to the single, and granted, I don't mind it, like, was a bigger song.
Sure.
But like the majority of the listens is still that single. So like, I don't know, to me, if it's a month later, I feel like it's worth it this year to at least try that algorithm.
Fair enough.
If someone wants to listen to it, they can go on my site.
Right.
And they can listen to
Absolutely.
it. And, and they can download it for free, like they always do every year, and they can put it on, they can use it on their shit if they want, but it's not going to be on those streaming platforms until those, because essentially why I do that is because I need those 2 weeks for Spotify to review them for their editorial playlists, because I was talking about earlier about being on an algorithmic playlist. If I'm on an editorial playlist, like, that's next level shit. Like that, like.
And that's what you got on.
I got an algorithmic one, so it's like a one that's generated by an algorithm, as opposed to one that's curated by the
somebody that works there.
Yeah, like the curated ones are like I went from like 2K listeners a day to 8K listeners a day. But if you're on an editorial point, you're going to like 100K in a day. Like if it's like boom, there it is, boom. You're switching from paying rent, to being able to make huge investments, at that point. That's what it seems like. But so I'm just going to, milk that platform for what it wants. Like Spotify wants you to do it like that. And also, like, every time it'll be released, it's another opportunity for Spotify to like let you know, oh, hey, I released something. Oh, hey, I released something. So like, you really get more bang out of it, as opposed to, okay, I released something. It's 12 songs. Here you go. And then
that's what I'm saying, man. The album's dead. People don't want, like,
Spotify doesn't want it.
Right.
I mean, Spotify's not everything, but I'll still release it on my site because that's just how I work. But things might change. I don't know. Things always change. Albums only came around for, like, albums weren't around before albums, like before the record, and that was still limited by how much you could put on it.
Space.
So it's like our concept of an album is just like, okay, well, it's more like, okay, well, what's a half hour of listening, like, or like 40 minutes of like listening? That's like a good chunk of time. It's like a movie, or something, or like it's a show or a movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can listen to that. It's like digestible. Whereas like, Bob Dylan just released a song.
Yeah, I listened to it.
It's pretty good, but it's like 12 minutes of poetry.
It's the same thing.
It's just like, 12 minutes. It's like, he's telling a great story of, tragic American history of JFK being assassinated.
Well, and they're all like musical references in there. A bunch of song titles and like other like references to a bunch of bands, like over like 75.
Really?
Like references to like music.
It's a
anyone
deep
from Bruce Springsteen
poem,
to the Beatles to Billy Joel. Like if you knew enough, you could hear all those references.
Yeah. 10-minute song. I don't think I've ever had a 10-minute song.
Well, so
6 minutes maybe.
I mean, I grew up, my dad listening to prog rock and stuff, which is like in and of itself like the classical version of rock and roll, right? A bunch of movements involved in one song, right? So like I was always used to like the concept of an 8-minute song, a 10-minute song, right? As long as it had different sections to it. And people still do it, obviously, but it's definitely a not top 40 radio wants your song at 3 minutes and not a second more.
Right. And that's the thing is like, well, who am I? Like, what am I trying to get on top 40? Like what? Like, I don't know. That's what I feel like sometimes, where it's like, for this album at least, like with Spectacular, it was like a change. It was like okay, I'm starting a business, and now with Cultivation, it's kind of been like, whoa, what's business? What's art? Where does it, like, trying to like question that, reevaluate, and be like, well, okay, well, what am I really trying to do here? What am I really trying? Am I trying to make a successful business where I exploit people and exploit in the market sense of it, where it's like, you're exploiting people's views, their listens, their stuff, and like thinking about it like that, being like exploiting people, or like being able to like, okay, well, what drives the traffic, what drives the, and like having that mindset where, like, or at least bringing that mindset into a possibility, and like starting to think somewhat like that, even if, where now I'm feeling like, well, shit, man, like I don't feel, I don't know, what really matters is the relationships and the connections that you make. Like, those are so much deeper and real. This album isn't like contrived or anything. Like, I still really connect deeply with the songs, but I definitely approached it differently this year. As I do every year. You've heard it. You're probably one of the only people that heard the album,
yeah.
but like, I don't know. It feels different to me in a big way, which is good, because it's what it should always feel that way. Like in terms of like my albums, but I think I'm like thinking too hard about it this time. Like I'm thinking
in the sense of like the story you're trying to tell, or just how you're trying to.
Yeah, it's just like, well, what's the promotion, and what's going to be the first one, and how am I going to promote, like, and then there's this tour, and like, and the songs are built on this, like, I'm like trying to look at these songs as like, instead of like these works of art that mean so much to me, they're starting to be like, oh, how do I get them to be more lucrative, or like, now how can I take these songs and make good money from it, or how can I exploit the systems in order to like do that, but also maintain that integrity of what it is, of like, this is something deep,
sharing your music,
right? Like this, and so it's just it opens up a whole new can of worms, where it's like, I'm not so like, it starts to get confusing, and I get scared about it, about like, what if I don't want to throw away the purpose and the meanings of this stuff, like, maybe I'm not doing it. That's what I mean. Like, maybe I'm just thinking too hard, about it. Maybe I'm just like overthinking, rather. Like, but like, well, no, like, don't get ahead of myself. Like, just fucking write this music. Like, Chris Stapleton, guy's like, music first is before everything. The dude was making, but he didn't get into his success until he was in his, not too, 10 years ago, in his 40s or late 30s at the very least. 40s probably, I think he is. I don't know. Actually, I have no idea.
He's great though.
Oh yeah, he's
got some
amazing.
good-
Let's see. How old is Chris Stapleton?
Chris Stapleton is 41 years old.
Okay, he's 40. Well,
Hey Sobo.
exploit my asshole. Is that what someone said?
No, I'm just seeing him on the...
Oh, someone on Twitch just said exploit my asshole. I don't know who you are, so I can't do that. And you probably had increased risk for corona virus if I were to go anywhere near.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, I think it's as good as time as any. It's been a solid 2 hours. But that's, human talking. People who have, everyone's got different journey through this isolation time, this quarantine time. I've been, I just went live a couple times doing some music, and people were like, "Oh my God, thank you! Like that was so great to just hear some music and to just." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" So it's like the role of a musician still exists. The role of like being there for people to like be able to listen to their music that they like and all that stuff, or just relax or escape from the craziness.
Well, and I think you've experienced that too. Your outreach is so much farther than it ever really could have been, 10 years ago, right?
Oh yeah.
The fact that you can, connect live with people across the country and across the world, even.
There's no live streaming like this 10 years ago. That's for sure.
Like
2010.
And I think it's part of what's going to help build that, because now you get to see artists like in their own space more or less, right? Like and whether or not they want to like share that, they have that option now, right? So
some of them don't have the option. They don't even have. They have to. I guess I don't know. The problem with these live streamers is not like. I guess this YouTube video can be monetized afterwards, and Facebook doesn't like, and you don't you can't like get ads or monetize until you're like have a big number of likes. Twitch, the videos don't get monetized, but you can like get partnered, and like after once you reach a certain level in Twitch, money starts coming in, one way or another. But like links, I basically in the descriptions of this stuff I put links to like all the equipment that I have. And so if anyone's buying anything, like you can click on those links, and then I get a chunk of whatever you buy on Guitar Center. So I don't know if that's good. I don't know if people want to buy from Guitar Center,
right,
or if people want to buy from Amazon. But the Guitar Center returns are much higher. So like if someone wants to buy something like equipment, if you click on one of those links, like and you buy something with like 30 days. Then they're called affiliate links, and so
you referral.
Yeah, I mean it's essentially a referral, which is it's an interesting way, like there's a lot of different ways to do it, or like Patreon. Gotta push that stuff more nowadays, but it's a crazy time for all this stuff, and I think we all have the technology now to make this happen. So like, let's fucking do it. All right. Tomorrow, stay tuned for another live stream. Be doing some things.
Cool.
And releasing a video, and like probably in the afternoon, and then live streaming probably around the same time, 6:00. All right. Peace.
Stay safe, everyone. Wash your hands.
Ben McCormick says, on break, love you fellas. Oops, I spelled beast. All right, whatever.